Welcome to the March 2026 monthly virtual meeting of the Miami Condo Investing Club. This is a virtual meeting that is broadcast live at noon South Florida time on the second Wednesday of every month. A recording of the monthly meeting will be available for on-demand viewing at Miami Condo Club. This 68-minute podcast is hosted by Peter Zalewski, a condo consultant, expert witness, and the founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. The purpose of the monthly meetings is to share real-time, actionable information about the South Florida condo market with club members. If you are not yet a member of the club, we would encourage you to consider joining at Miami Condo Club. The club's mission is to foster a community that shares real-time, actionable intelligence on the latest real estate trends, emerging opportunities, and trusted service providers throughout South Florida. Whether you're a do-it-yourself, DIY condo buyer, or a seasoned real estate professional, the club provides invaluable resources, including up-to-date statistics, expert analysis, and access to tailored consulting services. An added benefit of the club is that members receive discounts on all Miami Condo Correction walking and bus tours. Please visit miamicondoclub.eventbrite.com. Welcome to the March 2026 monthly virtual meeting.
Welcome to the March 2026 monthly meeting of the Miami Condo Investing Club. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you for being a member of the club. We're going to be talking about a whole variety of topics today. We're going to be talking about where are we, where were we, where we're going. We're also going to be celebrating another call we made, which was dead on. Dead on call. Why? Because we told you coming into the winter buying season, the first half of the winter buying season, you're going to have desperate sellers who are looking to get out, and they're the second half, once we hit about the midway point of the winter buying season, which goes from November through April, we told you there would be a conversation that was going to occur between the realtor and the seller who needed to get out because of rising costs associated with condo living as a result of Surfside legislation and the expenses that are involved with it. And you know what's happening? We're at record highs in our South Florida Condo Association Financial Cliff Index. The overall index as well as the vintage index. Vintage is those units that are at least 30 years old or older. And you know what's happening? People are selling off. Pending sales are spiking. Active listings are not growing as much. So what we're seeing is we're seeing the index spike. And why is it happening? People need to head for the exits. We told you it was coming. We predicted it was coming. And now it is here. This is the busiest time for the South Florida condo market across the board. Busiest time since at least 2024. It's not because prices are going up, because they're pulling back and they're going down. Sellers are heading for the exit. Remember, in 2026, all of a sudden, legislature said you need to now put money in reserves to pay for the inspections that were required by the insurance companies. Legislature, all these inspections that were required. What suddenly happened is now they have to get funded. In the past, you used to be able to defer. Condo associations would defer. Now they actually have to collect the money. They have to hit everybody with a special assessment or they got to take out a loan. And what that is doing is that is discombobulating, if we could use that term. I guess it's some kind of weapon the United States suddenly has. We use it down in Venezuela, but that's a different story. The whole market's getting discombobulated right now, and it's getting fun. It's getting interesting if you're a buyer. If you're a seller, you got 51 days. 51 days to find a buyer. You better shake that shiny object out there, because once we get into the humidity, the heat, as well as the hurricane warnings of the summer buying season, which goes from May through October, it's going to go silent most likely unless you are looking to discount. And if you miss that window, next 51 days, that means you're probably sitting on that property till September. Remember, rising costs. So if you need to get out, head out now. If you are going to be steadfast and hold firm, we'll see you in September. So long way of making an introduction and saying, I'm Peter Zalewski. I'm a condo consultant, expert witness, and the founder of the Miami Condo Investing Club. We set it up just about 2 years ago or so. We've been doing these monthly meetings since May of 2024. What we try to do in our monthly meetings is we try to give you club members an idea of where are we, where were we, and where we're sort of going. We like to use the data. We like to rely on the data. We like to share the data with everybody who's a club member. Hopefully, it will give you some sort of insight. It'll give you real-time actionable information so you can go out there and participate in the condo game. Doesn't matter if you're a DIYer, you're buying on your own. Doesn't matter if you're a buyer and you're using a broker. Doesn't matter if you're a listing agent. You're taking on listings, you're spending all that money to promote the properties, and they're not selling. Well, maybe the club can help you to sort of figure out kind of what's out there, what's happening. Maybe you're a lender. Maybe you're somebody's putting money on the street. Maybe you're somebody's trying to figure out, okay, how do I kind of walk my way through this entire process? Remember, we've had 3 interest rate cuts since September. You know what mortgage rates have done? Pretty much flat. They're still starting with a 6 handle. Many people say they have to have a 4 handle to get going. We had a glimpse about 10 days ago or so when mortgage rates fell, 30-year fixed, fell below 6%. And then you know what happened? We attacked Iran, and what happened? Mortgage rates and went back up. So we're going to get into all of these details. There's plenty of stuff out there. Can be a confusing market if you're maybe new to it, or maybe you don't pay attention to everything. But you don't need to pay attention to everything. Why? Because we're doing it. We're tracking it for you. Think of us as your pocket consultant that's telling you what's going on in the condo market. So that's what the club is all about. And I want to thank you for being a club member. What we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through. We're going to show you our agenda. We're going to talk about some of the different things. And we're going to help you understand what is going on in the condo market. And we're going to help you sort of anticipate what's sort of going to be coming, especially as we get into the summer buying season. We're not going to make our call yet for summer. We're going to hold that off till the May monthly meeting. Remember, we do these monthly meetings on the second Wednesday of every month. We always do it at noon. It goes to about 1 o'clock or 1:15 or so. So in May, we'll be making our call. We kind of get the sense of where we're leaning based on what we had called. Remember, last summer, we said wait and see. People were going to be sitting on the sidelines. No one was going to be doing anything. There was no urgency, and we were dead on that. We saw the sales really plummet. Then we saw in the first half, the winter buying season, as mentioned, those people who were desperate, they started heading for the exit, they started discounting, and now we're seeing people really cut prices, and as they're cutting prices, it's getting interesting. It is sending our index way up, and I'm going to show you line charts to sort of substantiate that. We put out reports daily. I'm doing a podcast 5 days a week. Do it 4 o'clock live. I'd encourage everybody, if you haven't checked it out, tune in. Because you're a club member, you can watch it on demand, so feel free to check those out. I'd encourage you to just sort of take it all in. The amount of information we're collecting, the amount of information we're distributing is bar none the most about the South Florida condo market in the Tri-County area of Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. Why are we so interested in condos? Why do I love condos so much? Well, I was a journalist a long time. I did it for 13 years. After that, I set up a company called Condo Vultures. We're celebrating the 20-year anniversary of Condo Vultures, if you can believe it. What was I doing back then? Well, I loved journalism. I was collecting data. We were analyzing buildings. We were modeling markets. We were looking at all of it, and we were able to basically take advantage of the downturn. It was a good run. It was a lot of fun, and I got a feeling I'm going to be getting busy again as these people continue to sell off their units. So let me go ahead. Let me share my screen, and then we're going to kind of get into our presentation. You should know this meeting will go till about 1 o'clock, 1:15 or so. We value your time. If for some reason you need to leave or you can't ride it out the entire time, you got other stuff going on, it's a busy time. Hopefully, if you're a realtor, you're very, very, very busy right now because all of the discounting that's going on and all the pending sales that are starting to happen. So rest assured, we're going to have a copy of this video. It'll be available for you by Friday. And let me just remind you, if you ever go to the website and you try to watch the entire video and it gets jammed up, it stops. That simply means you haven't logged in. So make sure you log in. You should be able to see everything because you are a club member and we do value you. So with that, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started with the monthly meeting. I hope everybody's as excited as I am. I love going through the data. I love when we make a prediction and it comes through. It's just always a fun time for us. We're not always right, but human nature is kind of predictable. So you can kind of see this stuff going on, especially if you've been there before, especially if you've seen cycles before. So nothing's exactly different. What is different this time is now we got the cost of condo living because of Surfside. That's driving a lot of it. Last go around during the great condo boom and bust of 2002 to 2011, it was all about cheap financing. It was all about President George W. Bush wanting people to own their own homes. So finance became readily available. Everybody's a speculator. And market ultimately ended up where it ended up, led to the Great Recession. What do we got this time? We got the cost of condo living. It's simply cost prohibitive. It's cheaper to rent than it is to buy one of these condos. So if you're a seller looking to head for the exits, who the hell's going to take you out? How are you going to get somebody off the couch to come up and buy your unit? The only way you're going to do it is to cut the price. And that takes us back to what I always say. Condos are commodities. They trade like salty snacks. They trade like oil. And oil's trading at a lot. And we're going to get into a little bit of that. They trade like orange juice. They trade like coffee. They trade like pork bellies. They trade like all of that type of stuff. It is a commodity. Single family house, work of art. It's a work of art. Everything is different. The shape of the lot, how many stories is it, the square footage, the trees, does it puddle, condos. It's all the same. It doesn't matter if you're on the 17th floor, the 37th floor, or even the 7th floor, potentially. It's all going to be the same layout. So what you do is you simply just use the numbers, just like when you go to the grocery store. You're looking per ounce. Well, condos, you look per square foot. And if you view the market that way, and if you view it as a commodity, and South Florida, east of Interstate 95, especially being a large trading pit, like back in the day, not today when you get on your phone and you play with Robinhood or Charles Schwab or something. Back in the day, you had a broker if you were in the stock market. You as the investor, you gave a call to your broker. Your broker called the floor where the trading pit was. Person at the floor answered the phone. They write up an order. They gave it to a runner. Runner ran it to the pit. That was that area that was octagon shaped. And people would be dressed up with, they'd have jackets on, they'd have a badge. Some of them were really like shiny or bright, or they had like leopard or cow or whatever. They get in the pit and they'd be yelling, and the hands were out, they were selling, the hands were in, they were buying. That's the way it used to get done. Now you do it on your phone. When we look at the condo market, we see a large trading pit down here in the Tri-County area. People are not in it for the American dream. They're not in it for a family and a four and a dog. They're in it to buy low and to sell high. And unfortunately, for many of the people who came in 2021, they bought high, and now if they want to get out, they're probably going to be selling low. So let's go ahead and let us share our screen, and we'll get started with this presentation. Let me make sure I find the right one. There we go. Bear with me one second while I pull this up. Yep. Okay, here we go. And share. All right, everybody. There's that beautiful, ugly mug of mine announcing the monthly meetings. We're going to be talking about all these different topics. I'll be showing you guys an agenda momentarily. But remember, second Wednesday of every month, we do this. We go live at 12 o'clock, and we go till about 1:15, depending on how much energy I have and how many details I want to hit people with. I might be covering a lot of terrain. It might become a little bit overwhelming. So remember, on demand, just go back and watch it or listen to it. Listen to the podcast, and, just over the course of time, you're going to be picking this stuff up. I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of information that I've collected over the course of my time in South Florida, which is 1993. 1993, wow, 30 years or so, plus all the people I'm constantly talking to, whether I'm interviewing on a podcast, I'm reading, I'm listening, all this type of stuff. So I'm effectively the person who's able to bring it all in. Think of it like almost like a vortex. And I'm sharing it all with you, so you don't have to do that, and you can focus on what you want to do. That's how I want you to sort of see the club and sort of see what we're doing. We're trying to build a community for people who want condo information. They can get straight talk. None of this chamber of commerce stuff you hear from the industry. None of the sell side stuff about 1,000 people a day. None of this stuff about how the market is great because prices are going up. They're not going up. They're coming down, and that's what they're not telling you. But you're not going to realize that till the close sales hit. And they're announced probably sometime in April. But we're already seeing cracks because we're studying it so closely. So there's the highlight. Let me continue down. Let me remind everybody, every Saturday, we got 8 tours left in the winter buying season. Every Saturday we're doing one. We do it from 10 to 1 o'clock. We got 2 bus tours coming up. Most of them are all going to be walking tours. Walk about 4 miles, takes about 3 hours. Go at a moderate pace. I give you a list of all the condos in a particular market. I teach you how to analyze condo projects. I show you where to spot opportunities as well as pitfalls. And you have some laughs, you get some steps in, and chances are you become a repeat offender, meaning you're going to come back for more and more and more tours. So we've had 9 left in the winter buying season. Last week, we did the Central Business District of Miami. This week, we're doing South Beach. Next week, we're going to be doing the Biscayne Boulevard corridor, which is going to be Edgewater. It's going to be Midtown, and it will be Wynwood. Wynwood. Had a senior moment there. So if you guys want information on the tours, go to miamicondo.club. Up at the top, you'll see tours, or go directly to the ticketing agency. And you can get there by going to miamicondoclub.eventbrite.com. So let me continue downward. Here's just a quick reference to all of my 4 o'clock weekday podcasts. They're always live. We always give you some great information. And again, it's a way for you to keep up with the market without having to necessarily do everything. Let me do it, and you focus on what you need to do, and I'll be basically the person whispering in your ear, your right-hand person, try to give you some insight. If you are on the listing side, recognize we're in a market where there's a growing inventory, reducing sales, and you need to gain yourself an advantage. How do you gain yourself an advantage? By not wasting your time and being able to talk straight to these sellers. Who wants to be the listing agent who goes and spends $2,500 to promote a property, and then lo and behold, it doesn't sell because the seller thinks that they have gold in their unit. The seller thinks that their kid is on the honor roll. The seller thinks their other kid is good at soccer. The seller thinks their significant other is great looking and their job is the best and everything is great. Somebody's got to have that conversation with them. They got to be able to talk with them with facts. I got a lot of buddies who work on the sell side. They use my stuff when they basically need to work down a seller to try to bring them into reality, get them off the Kool-Aid and get them back on some water, if you will. So eliminate sort of this, I don't know what you want to call it, ultimate optimism. You get it back to sort of grounded in some sort of reality, and that's what the club can do for you. So that's just an ad that we run. It's throwing that out for sell-side people. There's the club. Now we're going to get into our vendors. Let me go ahead and give you a list of some vendors that we would recommend. If you're a DIYer, you're a realtor, you're anybody, you're looking around for service providers. These are groups that we know, and we will basically recommend to you. So as you're out there, put them in the mix. They always say you should have 3 people to consider when you go ahead and making a decision, whether it's you and or your customers or clients. Here's some people that we think you ought to have on your list. We're going to start off with Clarita Rosa. She has a company called Condo Title and Closing. Clarita's a great person. She follows through on what she says she's going to do, as do all the people we're going to be naming to you. So Condo Title and Closing, Clarita Rosa. Then we have Christine Carey. Christine Carey, she does planning, zoning, and entitlement. So if any of you get, you've got a house, you want to go ahead and up zone it so you can sell it for more. Maybe you get caught. You got caught because you're doing work you shouldn't have been doing without permits, and you're jammed up. You don't want to pay an attorney. This is Christine Carey's an urban planner. Therefore, she knows the law better than the attorneys. A lot of attorneys tend to be more on the litigation side, and she was a former planner, so she can help you with that type of stuff. Miami 21 Zoning and Entitlements. Website, Miami21zoning.com. Next, we got Sergio Aliaga from Union Mortgage Investment Group. Sergio's was a banker, and now he is he was a pilot, and then a banker, and now he is doing mortgages. He's providing financing. It doesn't matter if you want to go to a conventional type of bank where it says FDIC, or you're going to go to private money. Sergio can find the money for you. He's somebody who's been around for quite some time. He knows the ins and outs of the market. Real sharp. He's always thinking. So if you guys are shopping around for financing, make sure you give Sergio a call. He's over at Union Mortgage. And if you guys click on the link in the supplement that I had sent you, you're going to be able to check it out real quick. But basically, Union Mortgage Investment Group. Then a general contractor. We got Kevin Kelly in this. Kevin has a company called Chaos Construction. Why? Because they eliminate the chaos. They're able to calm it all down. He's a general contractor. He's been building down here for a number of years. His family was in the business, so he grew up around construction. He basically can follow through. He can do this stuff when a lot of people maybe can't or they're not available. Kevin's able to give you straight talk, help you understand what you need to do, what you need to be expecting, and kind of how to go forward. So I encourage you to check out KS Construction, Kevin Kellyanis. So good guy. I did a podcast with him, and if you want to find out more, simply go to MiamiCondo.club, type in his name, Calienes, type it in, and you can watch the podcast, and you can make it your own decision right there. But if you're looking for a contractor, consider Kevin. Then we'll continue on. We got Jose Suarez. Jose is basically a opportunity buyer. When companies are going out of business, fashion lines or lines of furniture are being discontinued because you're changing seasons, any and all of that type of stuff. Maybe a restaurant's shutting down for whatever reason. Jose's group goes in there, they buy this stuff, typically pennies on a dollar. They put a little spread on it, and they resell it below retail price. Never know what Jose has, but that's somebody to check out, somebody to pay attention to. He's always got his hands on something that might be of interest to you. So that's Jose from Global Inventory Liquidators. And then Steve Mussolino. If any of you are in the market for tile, for marble, for anything related to like stone, if you will, related to your house, give Steve a call. His family's had a company, has this tile and marble company since 1970. They've been doing it a long time. They bring in their product. They have plenty of product and supply on hand, and they're always willing to cut a deal. So Steve Mussolino, Casa Linda, tile and marble. And with all of the people that we have here as our preferred service providers, I encourage you to remind them that you're a member of the club when you go in there, and they should treat you like family. And if they don't, reach out to me and I'll get up their ass, promise. So let's continue on. We're looking here at for the upcoming schedule, the remainder of the schedule for for the winter buying season. Our monthly meetings, remember, second Wednesday of every month. We'll be updating the schedule as we get into May with something new. So that's this one. That's meeting number 5. And then we will wrap up the winter on the 8th of April with our last meeting of the winter. And then we'll follow suit with our summer schedule. Remember, second Wednesday of every month, it goes from noon to about 1:15. Continue on meetups. We got a meetup this Tuesday, a week, basically 6 days from now. We're doing it up over in Miami's Upper East Side. We're doing it at a place called the Citadel. So if any of you are interested, come on out. There's no set agenda. I will be there. If you come, basically you can talk shop, you can trade war stories, you can pitch your services. So that's going to be held at the Citadel, which is basically about 82nd or so, 83rd, and about, northeast 2nd. Basically 79th. Just north of 79th, they'd be on the left-hand side. It's an old office building. They converted it into a food hall. So I'd invite everybody to come on out there, kick the tires. And then the following month, we'll be doing it up in Hallandale. So these are those opportunities to sort of get away from the virtual and kind of meet people in person. So I'll be out there, and everybody's invited to come and attend. Continue on downward with our presentation, and here is our agenda. So the agenda, we started with the introductions. We just went through the preferred service providers. I was referencing the podcast. Remember, 4 o'clock every weekday, I'm doing a podcast on Mondays. I do Miami Condo Mondays with my partner, my co-host, Jenny Huertas from CVR Realty. Check out her website, cvrrealty.com. Her and I have been basically battling the condo market for 20 years. She's got the experience. She's been through the ups and the downs, and she's basically no BS and can spot where the hustles are and also spot where the opportunities are. So that's Jenny Huertas. I do that on Mondays. It's called Miami Condo Mondays. Tuesdays, I do Miami Condo Exchange, where we talk about data, statistics, trends. Wednesday, one-on-one conversation with somebody I think you need to know. It doesn't matter if you're born here, you just moved here, or you're thinking about moving here. So that's always a fun show. Thursdays is distress. We're talking distressed condo market on Thursdays. And then we wrap it up on Friday. I do a bull versus bear with a gentleman called Daniel Hernandez at Compass Real Estate. Daniel's a little bit more on the center optimist side. I'm on the center negative or pessimistic side. So it always makes for an interesting conversation. We deal with 5 topics. We go through it. We decide, are we a buy, we a sell, or we a hold on that particular category. So 5 days a week, 4 o'clock, I'm live streaming. You guys can always tune it in, but then we do make it available on demand. Looking at this agenda, we got our upcoming tours. I had mentioned them to you, and we're going to hit it again just really quickly. Then we're going to be talking about foreign passenger traffic. Guess what? Miami International Airport, 400 passenger traffic down. It fell. Didn't fall by a lot. Fell by about 1.25%, but it's down. So I'll get into some of that. We're going to talk about Dubai, everything going on with Iran. Hey, is that a buying opportunity? Is that an opportunity for Miami and South Florida? So we'll get into that. Some of the other things, has South Beach condo market hit a bottom? Why? You got listings falling, and you got asking prices going up. So we'll discuss that. And then we're going to get into a variety of other topics. That's sort of our agenda. So let's continue on. Here's all the podcast schedule I had showed you. And then we'll get into our tours. So our upcoming tours of the winter buying season. This is what we got left. We got South Beach this Saturday. Edgewater, Midtown, Wynwood will be the following Saturday. Then on the 28th of March, we're doing Sunny Isles Beach. Up in Northeast Miami-Dade County, we're going to check out Sunny Isles Beach. I'm going to teach you guys how to analyze condo projects. I'll give you a list of all of them, and you have a much better understanding about what's going on in the marketplace. So when you see a palm tree on a building, you're going to know if it's under construction. Once the palm tree goes in, the building's pretty much done because they're set for inspections. I give you little tips like that. I also give you tips like for every $2 million you spend on restoration work for some of these older condos, you're looking at 1 year of labor, 1 year of guys swinging hammers, jackhammers, nails, cement, dust, pigeons, all that type of stuff. I gave you these little tidbits so when you go in eyes wide open, and they can be valuable little tidbits that hopefully make your life that much easier when you are playing the condo game. After Sunny Isles Beach, we're going to be doing Fort Lauderdale. We got a bus tour, Fort Lauderdale and the beach. If you jump on the bus in Miami, we'll leave from downtown Miami. We'll take you up there. We'll take you back. If you want to jump on in Broward, we'll pick you up at the Tri-Rail station off Griffin Road, just west of Interstate 95. It's a great tour. We'll go from Oakland Park Boulevard all the way back down south. We'll take you past the small stuff, the big stuff, and point out opportunities to you. Continuing on with the tours, we're going to be doing the Gables. We did our first Gables tour about a month ago. We got another Brickell Avenue one, and we got a Coconut Grove tour, and we will wrap up the winter buying season tour schedule with a tour of Miami Beach, Bell Harbor, Surfside, Bay Harbor Island. So if you want to walk, come on out.